Welcome to Connect It with Kim. I'm Kim McDonald, connecting you to the stories of the change agents of our world. You change, they change. Hi everyone, I am here with Mihkel Sepp.
You did it really correctly.
Oh, good. As Americans and these foreign names to us, sometimes I'm sure they sound very different in our head than they do in your language.
Yeah.
But I tried. And we're just, to continue my education for myself and others about how we can show up and be the change, based on the book I wrote, You Change, They Change, How to Take Control of Your Life by Losing Control Over Others. I'm always meeting interesting people, and I thought I'd get a younger person in here. We had a real connection yesterday when we met and spoke, and I felt he had a lot of depth for his youth. And so, of course, as a mom, I always want to know, what'd your mom do right to get you there? So I'm going to really just kind of base this conversation on my curiosity and see where we go. So welcome, Mihkel. Would you like to tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Well, a long story short, I'm 29 now. Currently, I work with educational productivity planner that helps people to learn every day something new and be extra productive every day and have a healthy, happy lifestyle. So gratitude and exercise in it, and meditation for mindfulness, and power nap to have more willpower. So kind of body hacks that you build as a habit, so you wouldn't have to use your willpower to go to training. And so, for example, for me, going to training is easier than not going. I have to fight myself if I want to focus more on the work and sacrifice one training for it.
Right. So almost was it always like that, or you built that muscle to be able to say, okay, now I would feel uncomfortable if I didn't go exercise, or I would feel uncomfortable if I didn't meditate?
Yeah, you build the habits one by one, so I built them one by one. I'm still, and the thing is that sometimes they fade off, and then you need to rebuild them, and it's totally normal.
Yes.
It's part of life.
Like an ebb and flow in the seasons. And how long does it take you now when they fall away and you find yourself not doing the things that you know to do to get you back on track? How long does it take you? Do you find that the time is shortened between when you can kind of self-correct?
Yes, it depends. It depends how long the pause has been. If, for example, if I haven't meditated for 5 years or something, then it's basically starting from zero, more or less. But if you didn't do it for 1 month, then it's easier to get back.
Right.
And so it's highly dependent also on the people themselves. Some can, and of course on motivation. How big is your motivation to do it?
Right. So 5 years is a long time for somebody that's only 29. So when did you start meditating?
Well, I have to thank my mom for that. She brought me and my brother to this weekend course of Silva method, which is what we are going to have here in Mindvalley University also, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too, very excited. For those of you that don't know what Silva is, look it up. It's SILVA, Silva method, and it's very a life-changing practice in a type of meditation that's very enlightening. So.
Yeah, and for us the kids, maybe it was different as for the grown-ups, but we used a lot of imagination and built a laboratory in our heads, and then we had the advisors how to live life, and we can ask them questions. I remember I was 13 and I had Sean Connery teaching me how to live and stuff like that. I don't unfortunately remember who the woman was, because I think I had many different ones, because I didn't have anyone specific role model from big world in my life from female side, so I don't remember. I think they changed.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. I even built body scanners and stuff to make it more automatic, and then I had the inventor mentality already then.
And did your brother get the same experience as you? Did he get a lot out of it at that time?
I'm not sure. I think I got more out of it than he did. We were raised the same way. The thing is, I think the differences were that in school we went into different classes, and he had not so nice classmates as I did. I had really, really great and smart classmates who wanted to learn. In his class it was more on hanging out, and there was more bullying going on in his class than in my class.
Mm-hmm.
So it
maybe he was
definitely
influenced
changed
by
us.
outside sources, and you chose to go inward and be influenced by the internal sources that we all have within us to lead us in the right direction, maybe?
Well, I had also the positive peer group when he had more or less neutral in today's world, since if we take the average. So it wasn't bad. We have been really fortunate in our family that everything has gone more or less well. So.
Right. But that does, what do you think led your mother to lead you into the Silva method? Was there a struggle in her life that she was trying to find answers for?
Yeah, definitely she went to do the same thing for grown-ups at the same time, I think, even, maybe. So she was excited about it, and she liked it, and she thought we could really use it, and I'm really thankful for her to do that.
Right.
It has been very useful.
Absolutely.
I used it for 5 years, but since everything was okay, then you don't really need to do it. Why should I meditate every day if I have everything in a good place?
Right. And how long does it take you to realize you should meditate every day, or at least when you feel even the slightest maybe control issue or imbalance rising up?
It again comes to the how much responsibility you take for your life. I remember it was easy for me to justify that, life changes, it goes up and down, and I really didn't connect those two things, that life going down and not meditating are in correlation, because in life there are so many events happening at the same time, so it's not so easy to recognize this. Maybe now looking back it's easier, but at the time it can be anything.
And so just like exercise, you're not recognizing it because you're so busy in life, maybe. And so when we get so busy, not you personally, just us as a human species, we get so busy doing other things, if we don't make it a practice like we did with the exercise, all of a sudden those subtle imbalances add up to big imbalances, I find. So I know with my son, he's only 25, but he started his meditation practice, I guess about 23, maybe 22, when he was going through a struggle. I gave him the Vishen's book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, and I don't think he read it right away, but eventually he picked it up, and it resonated with him. And then he logged onto the website and did the Extraordinary by Design, and that resonated with him, and he started practicing the 6-phase meditation. And I will tell you, I can sense and feel when he hasn't done meditation.
Wow, good job actually for getting him into personal development at the first place. But,
well, I couldn't get him into it. I could plant that seed, but as moms, we're not in control of what resonates for our children. We can only follow our intuition to lead them to, something that we think may help them, but then let go of the expectation. So I'm sure your mother led you and your brother to the Silva training, but then she also had to let go and let it be for you what it was going to be for you. Because when we don't let go, you feel that and you sense that from us, that we're pushing you into something, and then you repel that, because most kids don't want to be told at any age what to do and how to do it.
That's so true.
So I applaud your mother for letting go, but yet instinctively, intuitively leading you to it.
Yeah, like I think she created a very supportive environment for us. There was one dream that she had, like when she was young and wanted to have us do, which is sailing. But I'm actually really grateful for that also, because sailing is such a sport where you need to have like endurance. You have to have your brains working all the time because the situation always changes. You have to see the big picture. You have to see small details. I sailed in a two-man dinghy where I have a partner also in the boat same time, so there is communication and there is technical side also. Like we have to fix the boats on the shore and so on. So it was like really good mental exercise in any way.
Yeah.
And it gave a very good start to the life. And the knowledge you learn in one area, you can apply also in other areas. Right. If you are able to make connections and see the analogies and compare those things. So.
Well, that leads me to a great thought process. You know, the two things you mentioned that were pivotal in your growth and taking responsibility for yourself were not learned in the classroom, were they?
No, they weren't. Yeah. I think so, yeah.
So,
definitely not.
So as a 29-year-old, I'm assuming you went to a public school, or I don't want to assume you went to public school. And the two things that were pivotal in your growth, in personal growth, were not learned in the public school. Would you say we need to revamp how we do school? And what would your ideas for that be?
Yes and no. When we are speaking about universities, for example, then learning business on your own is much wiser thing to do, but becoming a surgeon, no, please go to the university.
Good point.
Don't go to like second-hand teachers or alternative. Like you can do alternative medicine. I'm not against it.
But don't let someone cut your chest open that has not been trained for years in surgery. Yeah. I agree.
This is the advice of the year, I guess.
So, but that's a specialty, and a lot of universities will be kind of an extension for high school, at least from the States. Mm-hmm. I know that you've taken math and science and broad language and things like that all through grade school and high school, and now you get into college and you're forced to take more of them and before you can get into what you want your specialty to be. Mm-hmm. So that sometimes drags kids who are not gifted in those areas down, and then they give up because that mindset is, I feel like a failure. Mm-hmm. I feel not good enough. Mm-hmm. I wanted to do this, and now I don't even think I can do that anymore. And so some of that is that internal struggle that is necessary for personal growth, but some of it is maybe putting everybody in the same box and expecting them to flourish in that box when that's not their box. So,
well, coming to the public school, I think that the biggest thing that school gives one person, in my opinion, is it teaches you to learn and be curious about different things. I think it's the biggest value of school to build some curiosity towards some area, subjects. Mm-hmm. You don't have to resonate with everything. Like when we grow up, we don't do everything, but we should have the basic knowledge. Like a person should be. I'm now referring to the Art of Manliness Podcast, where it's, I think the title is Mr. T, and for the background, Mr. T is the actor who plays...
he played Mr. T.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
He played himself.
Yeah, so he played himself in 18, and also he's been in fightings. But anyways, the point is that we have like two levels. We should have like basic knowledge of a wide area of things, mm-hmm. but we should go deep into one thing. So it's like a T-shaped man, basically.
Right.
Not to be like against feminism or anything. It's just,
no, that's not feminism. But I would like to say that the two things that you learned the most from were brought to you outside of school. So maybe incorporating for kids that did not have a mom who would even know the first thing about sailing. I wouldn't know to bring my kids into sailing and that they would get life lessons from that. It's what you're exposed to. So bringing children into, that can't be afforded those things into a space where they are exposed in some way to different things outside of a normal classroom setting. That would be a nice thing to teach maybe the Silva method in schools, or a type of meditation, or how to deal with stress.
I really agree. We should have like additional classes, and maybe we should give like a more broader overview of different topics, and also bring like meditation into it, which is I think it's not taught in anywhere in the world in schools. At least I don't know any place. I would be really grateful if somebody could tell me that, in Singapore they do that, because I've heard that in Singapore they teach kids the wheel of life in school. But unfortunately, the teachers are not very enthusiastic, so the kids don't get excited about it either. So at least they try.
There are some programs being tested in California that I can't really speak too much about, but I know it's going to get there, and it's going to be very much in that area of mindfulness and training kids to go inward, to really self-assess and address the issues and express feelings and really speak up for themselves and what they need, so that they can ask for what they need and then receive what they need. So I'm very excited about that happening in the next few years. So it's in the works right now in California.
I think we need I think we need to make it interesting for the kids, that they want to get into it, not that the parents force it on. Because I believe that I might have also meditation, why do you bring us to the Silva method thing, and what is it at all, and so on. Like, maybe I want to play with computer more than go there. But maybe if Hollywood would take it into like their movies, it would get more people interested in it. And actually the actors are like saying on interviews about visualization and meditation and everything. So people do that.
Anyone with influence can influence others, so make it a good influence. You said video games. Were you a gamer growing up?
Yes and no. Because I was sailing more than gaming.
Because you had an option, yes.
But I also played computer games, so I know a little bit about it. And then recently a friend of mine introduced me to one game again, and then I was sucked into it for 2 weeks. So I played quite a lot, but it was fun, and I again got something out for it. Like, everything is good for something, and
everything in moderation, right?
Yeah, exactly. And well, actually it got like too heavy, because I already saw in my dreams this game, so I like uninstalled it and then quit it and haven't played since. But what I learned from there is how to make things like very hooking and get people sucked into a product, for example. So now I have ideas how I can use it in my time book to make personal development more engaging and addicting.
So the video game came into your life for one reason, but you made it into another, and you were able to stop it when you felt the addiction portion kick in, right?
Yeah, plus I had my fun.
Right, you were done with the fun.
Okay.
Okay. So in that way, do you think as parents, letting their children be exposed to things and then having their own internal dialogue when they need to stop? Because I find that with my daughter, let's say her room is a mess, I don't say anything because it's not affecting me, but I know eventually, maybe once a month, she does a massive cleanup in her room because she's affected by it. Not to throw her under the bus, that's just the way she operates, and she will do a great job cleaning up. She'll get rid of things, reorganize, and she'll feel so good. But to stop her every day and say clean up your room would be counterproductive for her and I. So that's kind of her self-regulation that she needs to learn, and be self-aware. And would you say that your mom allowed you to do that growing up with video games and things like that? Did she?
We
Did she
had
see
our
a problem and
limitations.
stopped you?
We had our limitations. Like my parents kept it in moderation, more or less, because we still found ways how to get over the time. Like I play 1 hour and my brother plays 1 hour, but the other one watches, so we get to play like 2 hours or something like that. Yeah, so this was one way how we did it. And
She knew you were doing that, by the way.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
She was willing to allow that game for you to feel like you had control.
Yeah, maybe she did
We're
that.
smarter than you think.
You definitely are.
Well, tell us a little bit about what led you to do the book and show us. It's beautiful. Boxed package. Look at this. And look at his bracelet that matches this symbol. Tell us about this symbol.
Oh, this symbol has actually a really interesting story. It came to me in a sleep. And,
I love that.
I saw it like on a wooden book cover. So I thought, since I have a prototyping factory also, then I thought that, okay, maybe I should do like
Did
wooden
you just
covers.
hear that? He's 29 and has a prototyping factory. What is that?
Well, basically, we with my friends go there on some weekends and do some silly projects, more or less. Sometimes we do like real work also, but we play with things. So it's like a big. It's a small factory where we have different tools to play with aluminium and wood and carbon and so on, like different materials.
What's
and
the
we can
coolest
invent
thing you've
things.
made in that factory?
We have done, I think the most fun things that we do are gifts to each other, which are very unpractical. For example, I have in my small apartment a huge table, which has only, which is like a very wavy area. So it has only one horizontal place where you can place one bottle. So it takes 1 square meter or how many square feet
It's
that
a
is.
piece of
So,
art that has
yeah.
one use for one glass.
yeah, basically.
But it's a conversation piece, I bet.
Absolutely.
There you go.
There are so many things going into it, and then in that process we develop our skills and what we can do and so on. But yeah, this is my main baby. Yeah, so I saw it in sleep with on a wooden cover, so I thought maybe I need to do the wooden cover. But then a girl came into my life who is like from another level, and their family has it all, like happiness and success. And then I wanted to get to their level because I was working hard but didn't get any money, and well, I got money, but not as much as one could wish for. And
She
so,
made you want to be a better man.
Yeah.
Women
yeah.
have a tendency to do that for men.
Yeah, we even weren't like a couple or anything. It was just a crush I had on her, and like really clear thinking, and so many things I admire in her.
She up-leveled you.
Absolutely, yeah.
I love it.
And now that has influence for more people. Like
Yes.
people in 93 countries already have TimeBooks, and so
Yes, that's
that's,
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome.
You
Yeah,
see
that's
what
this,
one could
that's
do.
this symbol right here. It was very intentional about the book cover. It's this, you know, you can make a ripple that affects many, you
Mhm.
know? So when you change and evolve to your best self at that time, it's not because you force that change on anyone, but it's just by being.
Exactly,
create
you
this-
inspire it around you.
Yes,
Or
so-
aspiring, I don't know which one is the more correct word.
So we've talked about a few things that led you to be this amazing person that could evoke positive change in others.
Mhm.
What would you attribute, you know, was there a one thing, was there many things, was there a concept? What would you say the biggest influence on your life has been to create this, this masterpiece that other people can then use?
Well, in university I studied mechanical engineering, or I would like to say like I'm an inventor in that sense, because that's what I wanted to do as I was a young kid. So building systems is my thing, and so I created a system for myself to live a happy and successful life. And I'm still in progress, and I will always be in progress. Like,
That's right.
Like products are never ready. Yeah, so it can be always better, and you have to know that, but you can't like expect too much, otherwise you won't be happy in the process.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
You can't, we're always growing and evolving, but if we're always looking for that next evolution, we miss the moments that we're having and the experiences in the moment.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that?
In this book is one wheel of life, which helps me to like, basically it works like that there are 8 different areas from health, wealth, relationships and self-awareness. So you answer in every category how satisfied I am with and then this category, and then you find out which one is your lowest score, and for the next month you set the score, a goal for that area to improve.
And do you do this on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis?
Wheel of life I do on a daily basis, monthly basis, but I pursue it with my daily goals like every day.
So it's kind of like a rate your day kind of thing, but it's a rate, how did the month go, how did it start, and how did it end, and which areas do I need to focus on? Because what you focus on then grows. So you can manifest in that area and really say, okay, and sometimes we get like so, I call it discombobulated or in discord, and we're so far from balance, we can't even see the area that is imbalanced in our lives. So this would help those people to narrow down, oh, I'm feeling off because I haven't been doing my meditation, or I haven't been practicing my, mindfulness I do a mindful movement. So for me, Qigong and energy work, or for somebody else it might be I haven't been running outside, or I haven't been going outside, or I've been playing that video game too much.
Well, I think the biggest thing that sucks us in nowadays world is the mainstream goal to be rich, which means that we get sucked into finances and investments or business and career even more often. Like we become workaholics and we forget to live actually. And then when we are 80 and have like maybe we have been successful in that area, but then think back that what has happened to my health, what relationships I have in my life, why is my family divorced, or so on and so on. Like if you don't pay attention to all of those areas, you will, like if you have one of these areas not in a bad shape, it will affect everything else also.
So would you say that not only was it your mother's influence, but maybe, I don't know your background, but I know for me, my parents were divorced. There wasn't a whole lot of influence from my father in my life. And then I married someone who was a workaholic.
Okay.
And in my generation, I'm 47, the men were supposed to be working and making money, and that became their goal. And the family did not have their relationships right with them. So I know now we're changing that, but I know my son, 25, didn't grow up with that healthiness, and now because of that unhealthiness, he is available to his children, he works from home, and he's made that a priority. So what he lacked, he's correcting in his own life. Would you say you're doing the same, that's a focus for you because that's not what you had in your home?
There are some things that I like repulsed away of, because I have my mother and I have my father and I have my stepfather, because mother and father, they moved separately at one point, and all of them are into IT, and seeing their life, I decided that IT is not for me. Like no matter what, I won't go into IT. The funny thing is that I designed myself the website and build all the systems, so I'm back in it. But at one moment I was like really sure that I will go a different way and I will make it everything differently than my parents and will have even better life than they do. So so that was a funny thing how young person's mind works. So there
sometimes
wasn't anything.
I think you're running away from the most. You think it's one thing, but it's really the feeling you were running away from. You didn't want to have that feeling. Right. So knowing that you can still do IT, but again, in moderation, what gets you so caught up in, and now you're saying you're doing it for yourself to promote this good work, And so it's a feeling of self-satisfaction and necessity to do it yourself instead of hiring out.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. I know it's different for my husband to work for himself versus working for someone else.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I know my son wants to get there to where he is doing work for himself that is purpose-driven. So this looks like a very purpose-driven work at 29 to be exposing others to this way of thinking and this way of being so that they can reduce the chaos and feel more balanced.
Yeah.
So that's great.
And the thing is that I'm not, well, it has so much content in it, like every day you learn something new, and you have the choice if you use it in your life or not, and there are so many tools, and you will choose if you do the meditation or if it's not for you.
Right.
Like these are the things that most successful people have in their life, but not all have all of these things. Like maybe all of them don't do daily gratitude, or maybe they don't set a goal for the day. And so some people read a lot, some people work out a lot. So people have different habits and stuff. But I give like the structure to be able to do it all at one day. But it doesn't come overnight, so that's
No, I love it. I give my people tools, and gratitude's a huge one. I tell all my clients that are stuck in the negative, when they're not in that negative, write a list of 25 things that you're grateful for. So when you can't get out of that negative spiral to think of something that you're grateful for, you can read that list, and it will spark that brain wave to kind of recorrect and rebalance, and get out of your own head.
I think the biggest thing that has like transformed my life is that I used to actually I was really interested into business. I have been my whole life. The first thing I did was I created a website for a neighbor of mine by learning it from a book, how to code HTML code to create the website. So I have had my entrepreneurial mindset always, because my grandfather is an entrepreneur, my uncle is a very successful entrepreneur, my mother and stepfather were into entrepreneurship at one point, and were doing it okay. So I had my influences in that way, and I really love entrepreneurship. So this has brought me into like reading business books. I remember that the book that has two books that have transformed my life maybe the most were the first ones. Sir Richard Branson's Screw It, Let's Do It, which is a really easy read and inspires
Screw It, Let's Do It.
Yeah.
By Sir Richard Branson.
And the other one is more about financial thinking, Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is like an engaging story and probably kind of like a Bible for financial
And who's
thinking.
the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki?
Kiyosaki, yeah.
Kiyosaki,
Yeah.
okay. For the listeners, want to make sure they get that straight.
Yeah, both of them. Like if you put Rich Dad Poor Dad in, it's definitely the first thing that comes out. And Screw It, Let's Do It, Richard Branson. Really easy read, really quick read. It's like maybe 80 pages, but they're like in huge font, and so it's like maybe 2-hour read.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I think this was very informative for both parents and youth, because for me, I would say you probably had a mother that encouraged and never discouraged your dreams, because she was an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
So she saw that in you and encouraged it. And but then you just had the DNA to be a go-getter. And,
I think so, yeah.
And have that self-drive and that self-ambition. And then you had the Silva method to direct that energy in a positive way.
Yeah.
So you weren't using your talents for evil.
I think seeing life in a through a positive prism, that everything is good for something, even if something bad happens, usually it helps you either to grow in some certain way, or you later discover that it saved you from something bad to happen.
Exactly.
Like a breakup in the early stage of relationship would save like 10-20 years of your life if it comes out that the person isn't like really the right person for you.
Exactly.
So I'm not encouraging to let everybody go, but I'm encouraging to keep a positive mindset and look forward to the life and not get stuck in the past, because you can't change the past anyway. So. Get your perspective right, same page.
Very great perspective from a 29-year-old. I have the same one, but it took me 40 years to get that one. So
I'm glad you got it.
yes, me too.
And
Yes,
I hope your
say
kids have
everything. We are instilling that.
Yeah.
We are instilling that. Better late than never, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah, I can see my daughter is getting the benefits of my hard-fought knowledge, and so maybe she won't have to fight so hard for it.
Yeah. Better late than never. It's never too late.
Exactly.
So,
well, I appreciate the talk and your
I think
time.
we could talk like for 10 hours or so.
You think so? I think so.
But yeah, let's keep it short and maybe do another podcast on another topic.
Yeah, you can interview me next time.
Oh,
and
let's do that.
We'll go back and forth. But yeah, I say everything in life is a growth opportunity. You might not know what that growth is or what it looks like, but just let go and enjoy the ride and don't try and control it.
Yeah, and thank you to my mother also.
Yes, Mom, I hope you enjoyed this interview because I was focused on you because you've done a great job. So, good on you.
Good job.
All right, Mihkel, thank you. We'll put his information in the
wherever description
wherever we put this,
yeah.
We'll put it so you can get this beautiful book. It would be a lovely gift for anyone. Of course, you can't force anyone to use it, but I think it would be a lovely gift for yourself. If you have people under you, like in a team kind of setting, it would be a great tool to give employees, I think, as a Christmas gift. To help them get in touch with themselves and let them know that you're not just thinking about your business, but you want them to have a balanced life. And this would help use those tools because that will come back to you in ways that you didn't even know would happen.
And it would come in productivity like instantly.
Absolutely. Firm believer in that. A happy employee makes a happy employer. So why not have an office full of balanced people who are honoring their inner child and making sure that that's fed.
One of my core mottos is that everything has to be a win-win-win mentality. It means like both partners win and also the world has to gain of it. So not to maybe nature-wise or maybe other people have to gain from it. So it's not that, we are going to take the money from the poor and then maybe we are going to cut down all the trees and we are rich.
Right.
No.
Right. Yes. Vision would say a humanity plus corporation.
That's a really good term.
What are you doing in your life that affects the general population? Going back to that ripple effect, what ripple are you creating? In your children. Your mother created a ripple effect in you. She might not have made the book that was, out there, but she created you.
Yeah.
She inspired you.
And she definitely has done her own
I'm sure she has.
Have improved the world.
Yeah.
I have grown up in a really happy family.
That's awesome. You chose to be happy.
That's true. Yeah.
We all have a choice.
Yeah. Take care. I hope it was really interesting for you. And if you have any questions, just get in contact with me or with you, and we will gladly help people. I think that's Mindmap University. Everybody wants to help other people.
We are full of love to share.
Absolutely.
Be love, and you will receive love. And that's what this is. Just enjoying each other and what we can bring to the world and to our own space. So be blessed on your journey to find love in yourself and in others.
Thank you.
Thank you.